Hello YouTube, good to see you guys back here. First thing I want to say is I want to thank all my new subscribers. This has been a learning experience to you. Hopefully the shakiness of the camera I got figured out somewhat, as well as the volume of my voice. My wife says I need to relax a little bit and get some of my personality into my videos, so I'm going to try to do that today. Let's see what happens. So if you're new to the channel, this channel is about my cab over truck as well as my Dodge D600 dump truck that I bought that was sitting for a long time. And please subscribe and enjoy the video. I'm back here for another episode about the Dodge D600. Today my plans are to get it running from a key start. So I'm going to have to drain the tank, clean it out, replace all the fuel lines, and replace the fuel pump. I'm also going to add a couple little filters, inline filters. I'm going to have one right outside the tank, then one right before the carburetor, and try to keep stuff from getting into the pump and into the carb. I realized last time I missed a couple things that I did on the truck when I watched the video. One of the things that I did that I didn't film was I pulled the top of the carb off, cleaned it out. It was fairly clean, but I did use a little carbon choke cleaner out of an aerosol can, shot it through the jets, cleaned the bowl out. And then I also checked the cap and rotor. The cap and rotor on this truck were like brand new. I'm pretty sure that the person that owned this before replaced the cap and rotor as well as the spark plugs, wires, and coil before parking this truck. So I got some goodies today. That's the fuel pump, sticking with the mechanical style. So brand new pump, new gasket. So that's one thing I'm going to be installing. I also got a new battery. I just got a basic battery for now, not knowing what the future holds for this truck, as well as a bucket to drain the fuel into. I don't think there's too much in there, luckily, so that's good. I'm also going to run some seafoam in the tank and in the oil. This stuff's been around for a long time. I feel like it does a pretty good job of cleaning jets and stuff like that out. So hopefully that'll help. So yeah, let's get started. Well, unfortunately this truck sits too low to put the 5-gallon bucket under it, so I'm gonna have to drain it in here, then dump it in here. Hopefully I don't make a mess. The drain plug's down here, so break it loose. Okay, it's coming out pretty easy. That's a good sign. Hopefully I don't make a mess here. Nothing worse than old gas. It's actually coming out a lot cleaner than I thought it would, which is good. So that wasn't too bad. There's only probably 3 gallons in there altogether. I don't think it'll fill this one back up, so pretty easy. So something that I like to do is on these type of pipe treads, I like to use a little bit of this liquid sealant. Just finds that it saves a lot of problems down the road. Nothing would be worse than having a full tank of gas and having your plug start to leak. So you just kind of brush some of this on the threads. And then you screw it in. Pretty easy, simple. This is the stuff here. I really like this stuff. It's always messy, so I keep it in a plastic. Actually, I keep it in a cup most of the time, so I don't get the crap all over. But yeah. Alright, so the tank's cleaned. I looked in there pretty good with a flashlight, and it cleaned out pretty good. So I'm going to put the drain plug back in and start working on my lines. Alright. So there's a soft line that goes from the pickup tube that comes from the top of the tank down to the hard line in the frame here. So that's going to be the first one I'm going to replace. I'm also going to put a fuel filter in line there to catch anything that it picks up out of the tank. Because even though it looks pretty clean, it's a metal tank and it's been sitting, so I'm sure there's a little bit of rust and stuff that it's going to pick up for the first 10 tanks or so. So I'll keep an eye on that filter and replace it as it starts to look dirty. Alright, let's get this fuel line loose here. So the first part of the line that I got to get is right up here. This has a little worm clamp on it. This hose is all pretty hard. I have a feeling some of this is probably original. So I'll get that all pulled off. Alright. Now what we're going to do, this is my new line. It's 3/8 fuel line. I prefer the Gates. I've had good luck with them, that brand. And it's made in the USA too, so that's nice. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just a little bit off. I like to use a razor blade because it makes a nice clean cut on the hose. And unfortunately, I forgot to get me some hose clamps. So right now, this is sucking on it, so it shouldn't separate. So I'm going to press this on, but I will get some hose clamps on here soon. Before I drive it, especially before I drive it on the road, it'll have hose clamps for sure. So there's always a direction that says to carb, so it's coming from the tank, going through the filter to the carb. I'm going to slide both ends of the hose on because it's a little tricky right now. I did dip it in a little bit of gas and just kind of wet it to try to make it slide on a little easier. But as you can see, this it takes a little bit of doing to get it to slide on sometimes. Alright, so I got that. I'm going to dip this into that gas to make it wet and put this back on here. Sorry, it's hard to get you guys where you can see here. Come on. There we go. Alright, and I'm going to put the worm clamp back on here. That was there before. That hose is a little loose, I just found out. I'm going to have to tighten that compression fitting. Alright. Now the hose clamp, you don't need them super tight, just so the metal of the clamp is just flush with the rubber. That's all the tightness you need on them. Alright, so what we got going on here is that this is actually, I think they're all called it, I know Ford calls them a pull-lock valve. Basically, this truck at one time must have had two tanks. So one tank would come in here, one tank would come in here, and then this would go out, and then this is an electronic valve that you switch from inside the truck to switch between the two different tanks. This truck only has one tank on it now, so I don't know how long it's been like that, but that's what it is. So here's the fuel line here. So I'm gonna undo this clamp here. From here it goes into the frame as into a hard line. If I had compressed air, I would blow this line out really good, but I don't. So I don't have an option there. So here's the new line. So it looks like we need to cut it right about there. Take my razor blade and put it against a hard surface and just rock it back and forth, and it cuts it nice and clean. Put the hose clamp on the hose and slide this onto the line. Maybe. I'm gonna have to hold it from the back side. Come on. There we go. Okay, then slide the clamp back on and tighten her down. So now we gotta go up to the front of the truck, and we're gonna replace the pump as well as the fuel lines up front there. Okay, so now the part that we have to fix is right down here. That's the fuel pump. To get to it a little bit easier, and so you guys can see better, I'm going to swing the alternator up. I'm not going to take it all the way off. I'm going to unbolt the bottom bolt, loosen it, and then swing it up. See if that gives me enough access. Hopefully I don't have to take it all the way off, but it may come to that. So let me go grab some tools and I'll get on that. Alright, here we go on this. So let's see, it looks like maybe a half. Yeah. So a 1/2-inch bolt. And let's see if we can do. This will also let me figure out the belts too. Hopefully. Because these belts are a little dry for me. Okay. Got that. The belts are off. And long-winded bolt, longer than I thought. And then let's see what happens. Yeah, that gives me good room now. See? Those are the two bolts that I gotta undo. This is the line coming from the tank. This is the line that will go up to the carburetor. Actually, sorry, I got that wrong. This is the line that goes up to the carburetor, and this is the line that goes to the tank. I am planning on starting this out of a gas can first, just to get good fuel to the carb and stuff. before I suck it through the tank, just so it's got enough RPM and stuff to pull the line full of fuel. So let's see, do I need a socket, or might be easier to go from below. Okay, I'm gonna go below and see if I can get that to unscrew. Alright. Oh, it might be bigger than a 1/2 inch on this. Yeah, looks like it might be a 5/8. Looks like I found the coolant link under here. I was able to get one from the bottom. The other one I'm going to have to get from up top here. I'm going to go grab a socket. Alright. Let me find something. Let's see if I can get this other bolt. There we go. It's coming out now. All right. So there's the pump. So how this works is the cam comes around and it pushes on, wow, this one's seized up, pushes down on this, which moves the diaphragm, which pumps the fuel. Let's get the new one all set up. I'll take you over. Alright, so here's the replacement pump. As you can see, that's the same pump. Actually, we might have a little bit of a problem. Let me grab the wrench and get that on. This should really be done with a flare wrench. Flare wrench grabs from more than one side, but I don't happen to have one out at my truck. So what I'm gonna do, so since I don't have a flare wrench on me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this hose off. And I should be able to slide this down. This does not look like a factory line, might be the reason why. Now I don't have to worry about stripping that out. There. And then take this line off. I got my wrench stuck. There we go. Okay, so we're good. It's the same size. So now what I'm going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray some carbon choke cleaner through this. I hope that's not a sign what's in the hard lines down. There's a little bit of rust in this. Might make me go through a couple more filters. Alright, that looks pretty clean now. That's spinning. I'm going to use this stuff again on here. Alright. So now we're going to put this on our new pump. And we're going to want this facing up this way. That's how it was on the last. Give that a good tightening. So that's good. Now, I like this stuff. Spray gasket. So basically what you do is you take your new gasket and you give it a coating of this stuff. And it tacks it up and also helps seal. So it goes like so. And then one last thing that I want to do before, or a couple more things I want to do, is this hose was a good length. So I'm going to go get some of my new hose. I'm going to cut it to this length. So it needs to be cut there. And then we're going to put this on. I'm going to spray a little bit of carbon choke cleaner down the hose to lube it a little bit. There we go. And now we need the hose clamp that came off of there. Now this side has to have hose clamps because it's the pressure side. Oh, I did that on the wrong line. That one goes on here. I just made a mistake. I dropped my new gasket on the ground, and that stuff makes everything really tacky. Luckily, this kit came with 2 gaskets, so we'll tack that one up. And then one last thing is I use this motor assembly lube. So this rides on the cam here, and I don't want that to start up dry. So just going to take a little bit on my finger. Stuff's been sitting a while. I need to shake it up first. Alright. Don't need a whole lot of this, just enough so it doesn't have a dry start. It ain't gonna hurt anything in the motor, so. Alright, we're about ready to install this. So, I'm going to put a little tiny bit of blue Loctite on here. That's more than I wanted. And we're going to go back over there. something that's important to do when you do something like this is make sure the gasket surfaces are clean. So this is just a scraper, straight edge scraper. I'm just going to run it on here, make sure all the stuff is off. Which this one was. Looks like it all came on the old pump instead of sticking to here. So we got pretty lucky there. You guys almost just watched me eat it. Alright. Now we're gonna... So we have the pump. And this has to go underneath the cam. So you got to make sure that you get it underneath it. So when you put it in the hole, I always slide it around the bottom. Like so. So I could tell that this was underneath it because I couldn't pick it up all the way. When I tried to pick it up, it was stuck, which means that it's hitting the cam lube. So now I just got to tighten it down. On the tire. Almost there. Long-winded bolts. This one's good. And that one's good. So we got that all installed. Now we gotta get this line up through here. Like so, and then the filter will go in there. I'm going to put the belts back on. I'm going to see if I could get the number off of them first. Yeah. Cool. I'm going to line up the two numbers here so I can get them. Onto the first one. Onto the second. And then got this one goes there. And then we gotta put the bolt back in the alternator. And then I gotta get the wrench to tighten that up, which was a 1/2 inch. So this is just tension by you pulling on it. Alright. check, make sure this didn't loosen up. It's a 9/16. There we go. So now I gotta get the filter to there. So once again, you gotta get the flow right. And we need hose clamps. We might have a little bit of issue here. I only got one hose clamp left. What I'm going to have to do, a carburetor system only works off of 4 to 7 psi. So I'm going to put one of them on, and then I'll have to go get some more. I actually found one more, but I think I'm going to put that one more down there because it'll be a harder one to get to. So just a little carbon choke cleaner. It'll lube it up a little bit so this will slide on. So it goes 2 carb this way. Sorry if my arm's in the way, but I kind of got to be there. I would definitely never attempt to run this system on the road without the hose clamps. That would be a big no-no because this line could pop off under the hood, go on the exhaust. It's not something you want. Okay. Tighten this one down that I got. Grab my wrench, and screwdriver. Okay, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go underneath and I'm going to put a line going into my gas can. Alright, I have a temporary line going into my gas can to the pump, which will feed the carb. So I bought a new battery that I'm going to put in and get that hooked up, and then we'll get it a crank and see if we can get gas up to there. Here's the new battery that I got. I need to get a battery hold down deal. I wasn't exactly sure how it would fit in this one, so I didn't get it this go around. And I need some new battery clamps. That'll be some of the next things on the list to get. This one's on there. There we go. Yeah, definitely need some battery clamps. This is a temporary battery hold down. Not gonna stay. Alright, so that's all hooked up. I'm gonna clean some tools off. I'm gonna go in the truck. I'm going to work on turning it over a little bit. One thing I'm going to do, because I know there's not enough fuel up here, is I'm just going to give it a little help for the first start. Any fuel? Okay, so filter filled up with fuel. So that's a good sign. Give it a little bit of brake clean. Getting close. Well, we have a fuel leak. Looks like I need a carburetor rebuild kit. At this point it's dangerous to start it how it is. So I'm going to disconnect the battery. I'll take you guys off of here and show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see, it's definitely pumping the fuel, but it's leaking out of the carb. So the carburetor needs a carburetor rebuild kit. So that'll be on the list. So one thing this truck has had since I got it is the door latch doesn't work. Well, I found this stuff I use on my toolboxes on my truck. It's WD-40 Specialist Dry Lube with PTFE. This stuff has worked really good on there. I'm going to see if it'll loosen these up. The good thing about it that I noticed on the toolbox is it doesn't attract dust and stuff. Since it's a dry lube, it dries. Lube it all up for you guys. Look at that. Works like brand new. Pretty happy with that. Well guys, that's it for this video. Unfortunately, carburetor started leaking, so I wasn't able to get my goal. But I did get the fuel lines in, the tank drained. I also found that it's leaking around the thermostat housing, so I need to get a thermostat gasket for it. But hopefully I'll be able to get a carb gasket in a couple of days, get that carb rebuilt, and get this thing running like it should be. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time.